Well, I just watched School Days, and let me tell you, it makes me thankful I didn't attend public school days, because school days made me relive my horror of my private school, where I was blamed for everything and consistently doing chores with no supervision, fearing I was going to be snatched away by a stranger at any moment. Okay, this is getting a little personal. So School Days, the anime that is acclaimed to be the worst thing ever, and I watched it. But more importantly, what did I think of it? Well, I actually enjoyed it. Now, I use the term enjoyed very loosely here. I only enjoy the story, well, sort of, kind of. I think it's because of its messed up, sort of realistic situations it puts its characters in, where a kid gets a taste of lust and slowly spirals downward having sex with multiple girls, and faces the consequences of messing around and gets brutally murdered because of it. I don't know, maybe I'm just a messed up guy who enjoys seeing someone's life fall down the crapper and gets what he deserves. Nah, that's totally not it. But yeah, besides that, everything else is just awful. The characters are boring, the animation is dull and sloppy looking, the edits are really freaking weird. It's like I'm watching a low budget hentai.
ほら、浜口来たよ。
Did I mention the animation is just awful? Granted, this did come out in like 2005, but there were plenty of other animes that looked way better at the time. Also, it's apparently a visual novel game thing on like PlayStation 2 and PSP, which makes sense due to its sort of no dilly dally around type of thing and gets straight to the point. And as well as its multiple endings, but it also came out in the year of April 28th, the same year the anime did, so take that how you want it, I guess. Now, I won't be talking about the other endings, mainly because I like the first one better, because I'm a messed up human being. But yeah, let's just... It begins with our main character narrating how he likes a girl and expresses it by stalking her and taking pictures of her. Okay, whatever, I'll roll with it. Then, while he's getting help from his other friend, that's also a girl, to get the girl he likes, his friend kisses him and leaves him on the train, leaving him in shock with no explanation of why she did it. But I guess it's kind of obvious, but whatever. That was kind of weird and sudden. But I guess that's the reason, I guess. Then later on, we see the guy and the girl he likes on the date, but he messes up pretty much every conceivable aspect of the date they're on. He reads porn in front of her, he shows off, he plays a video game in front of her, so he's basically ignoring her. They go to Dunny's. Wish I had a Dunny's. Then he orders all of the desserts for her, which is basically calling her fat. Then he fails to stand up for her after she bumped into a guy. Then later, they go to the movies, to which he proceeds to immediately mess it up by assuming she wanted to see the romance instead of the zombie thing. And he didn't really ask her either, so it's kind of failing in that aspect too. So they watch the movie, and he gets really horny, and he gets slapped in the face because of it. Did you know that right before the day the final episode of School Days was scheduled to be aired, a 16-year-old girl killed her father with an axe? That doesn't really mean anything. Just a random fact I came across, but whatever. So later down the road, they like each other now, after the girl gets used to him now, I guess. But it turns out, after dating her for like a couple days, the guy gets really bored with her, saying how she's easy to handle. Okay. Plus, he's expecting her to let him touch her, despite the fact they've been going out for like a week or something. And no other girl will let you do that, so it's basically common sense to know that it's kind of going too far, but whatever. Teenage guys' lusts, or whatever. He then proceeds to have sex with his friend and ignore the other girl that he should have broken up with since he likes his friend now. But then later down the road, we find out that he's just in it for the sex and just has sex with multiple girls. I think he even has like a threesome at some point. At least it's kind of implied, but whatever. I guess it's for the mind to wander. So the girl he used to like is basically losing her mind. His friend has no idea what is transpiring, and the guy is contracting every sexual disease ever. Great. So now there's like a festival, and there are these sex rooms that are just there for some reason. And the guy has sex with another one of his friends in the sex room. And the three girls he had a threesome with put cameras in the sex rooms, and they show him having sex with another girl having sex with her boyfriend. And despite the fact they basically showed pornography at the festival, they don't get suspended or expelled. And the kids actually having caught having sex. The guy and his friend, and then the other girl and her boyfriend, they don't get in trouble either. So they return to school as if nothing happened, and no one really bullies them. They just kind of say stuff behind their back, which I guess is realistic, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird, but whatever. So now the guy wants to get back together with the girl he previously liked, and his friend he had sex with tells him she's pregnant, and she also made him dinner at his house. He tells her not to say stuff like that and completely ignores what she said, and she gets mad and wastes all the dinner she made for him. Then later, they all decide to have dinner together. The guy arrives, and he had a quiet moment that was actually appropriate because the majority about through this anime they're just weird quiet moments that don't really make much sense. But whatever, it's fine. Then he gets stabbed by probably one of the most like non-tension filled moments, I'd say, because it's just like he gets a text from her, the girl that stabbed him, when he could have just literally asked her across like from the kitchen, "What did you text me?" or whatever. But fine, I guess. But then the other girl that liked him sees him dead on the floor, and then she texts the girl through his phone, and then they meet up on the roof, and then we find out that she wasn't pregnant. The girl, the girl that was his friend, and so the girl that he liked stabs her, kills her, goes through her stomach, finds out she's not pregnant. Then she takes the head of the guy that liked her, and they make out on the boat, and that's the end. So, was it good? Was it bad? You know, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad either, honestly. I mean, I guess I'm kind of a messed up person to say that I actually enjoyed this, but it was in the middle for me. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. Everything animation wise was awful, pretty much. Felt like the anime was just kind of melting as I was watching it. But yeah, it's just like the story is interesting, I guess. It's like sort of a life lesson in a way. It was more realistic, but I guess that's all anime has to do. As long as the story's super good, it wasn't really anything to really make fun of in the story because it played pretty closely to real life. But there was this one like really weird, hilarious scene with the guy with the clip I showed earlier with like the girl just running into the guy and him getting mad. That was probably the most hilarious thing in the whole freaking anime because it was just so like off-putting and not fit for it or whatever. It just looks so funny, like cartoonish in an anime. Ho ho. Okay. So yeah, this is like the first of the many bad animes I'll be reviewing, but overall, this one I feel like isn't as bad as the ones I've seen. Maybe I'm just I guess I've just seen worse. I've seen way worse than this. In a way, this was charming in some aspect of like 1% charming due to its story, but whatever, it's fine. But yeah, School Days. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good either.